Hi, my name is Invita Banzo. In this video, I will be asking 13 people about their thoughts and opinions on global warming and climate change. Climate change has recently become a very important and controversial topic, and I'm very interested in it, so I wanted to interview 13 people and find out how their opinions on this topic compare to those of an important political figure, who will be revealed later in the video. Here are my 3 questions. Who said this and when? Global warming is a total and very expensive hoax.
Obama, 2015.
I think Bill Clinton said it in 2003.
Possibly Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Like George Bush, maybe 30 or 40 years ago.
About 5 years ago, and I'm trying to remember who said it, but it was, you can see the guy's face. He was running for vice president, I think, at the time.
I guess that it's Donald Trump in 2016.
Donald Trump, and I think it was during the campaign, probably 2016.
That must be our president, Donald Trump. And the year must...
I think Trump said this is 2016.
Donald
Trump, 2018.
I will say President Trump in 2000. Okay, so I think that quote was probably said by Donald Trump, and probably pretty recently, like 2017, 2018, 2019. Just because I know he speaks out a lot about issues like that and often has opinions that don't match with other people's.
This was said by President Trump in 2013. He has been saying that he doesn't believe in global warming and climate change for many years. What is your opinion on this topic and why?
So first of all, I think Trump, already we know he's very opinionated, but he doesn't really support his opinions. So I find it very kind of unprofessional that he said this without anything to back it up besides his own other opinions. For me, I definitely believe that there is something going on with our world that is causing it to heat up. You know, we haven't lived here long enough to know if global warming is just, kind of a cycle where it's warm for a longer period of time and colder for a long period of time. We're just used to how it has been when we've lived here. But I do believe that there is something caused by humans that is causing our Earth to start. Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure global warming exists and stuff, and I'm sure it's out there though. Don't know why Donald Trump would say that.
Yeah, I think the science is very clear and makes it very clear that global warming is happening, and there's no question about it.
I believe that global warming in its current state is very active and present, and that our country, along with other countries, need to develop a plan of action for.
So, as far as my opinion on global warming and climate change, I think it is real. And we are increasingly feeling that every year. As far as why we are seeing the intensity of hurricanes and storms gaining strength every year. We are seeing 100-year storms on a more regular basis. We are also seeing melting ice glaciers, and the pace of melting of those glaciers is actually accelerating. So there's many facts which show that climate change is real.
Okay, so I think global warming is real. There are a lot of evidences, and a lot of scientific community is also in agreement that is very real. We can see the impact. The summers are very dry, and the winters are also.
So I definitely do not agree with that quote at all. I think climate change is a real issue in our world today, and it's something that we definitely need to start working on, especially in our government and stuff. I think needs to take action because it's going to affect our generation especially.
I think global warming is a huge deal and that it's very real today and that it's going to affect all of our lives. And I think we definitely need to take action.
I think science has proven climate change, and I think that it's a big problem in our world because it is causing a lot of natural disasters to be deadlier and storm season to last longer.
Well, I don't think exactly global warming. I think it's climate change. And I think that we need to start doing something about it because our Earth can really, it could be bad.
I believe that global warming is something that we need to pay more attention to and put more research into. The number of papers that have come out in the recent past suggest that a shift is happening. Now, is that because of global warming or not? We need more research. But yes, a phenomena is happening and we cannot ignore that.
So I am not qualified to really say for sure about global warming. I feel that there's not a significant amount of change that I can see on a day-to-day basis to say that the actual climate is warmer this year versus last year. However, I believe scientists are smart people and they wouldn't be telling us there was a problem if there wasn't a problem. And I do believe that we are probably doing a significant amount of damage to the environment and the ozone layer, and that there at some point will be consequences for that if we don't deal with it.
In the last 2 years, the U.S. has withdrawn from the Paris Climate Agreement and taken away some environmental regulations in order to help the economy. Do you think this is the right decision? If not, what changes should be made?
I'm not sure that this was the right decision. I think we should be more conscious of our environment, so maybe we should try to re-enter the agreement.
I think that the U.S. should go back into the Paris Agreement and put more climate change laws in land because the U.S. is a big industrial hub for the entire world, and anything that we do will affect all of the world.
Well, I don't support that. I think we should have stayed in it, and the change I would make is going back and being part of it again.
No, I don't believe this was the right decision. I feel like we should be spending a lot more of our time trying to fix the environment right now. So yeah, I feel like we should put some more focus on trying to save the world.
I think it's the wrong decision. I think that environmentally friendly policies encourage new inventions and new industries and create new jobs, and we don't lose any jobs, we just shift jobs around.
I understand that the U.S. withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement I understand why they would do that and for economic reasons, but I also think that it was not a good decision because it could possibly negatively impact how our work towards stopping climate change or slowing it down at least, especially for, I said this before, our generation. It's going to be something that really affects us when we are older and we need to take action now.
I think the U.S. should not have done that because although it impacted the economy in positive ways, the U.S. should think about their future.
I will say I'm not educated enough to give an elaborate opinion on that, as I'm not aware of the regulations that were in place. However, we need to consciously make an effort to realize that going forward that our environment should be a priority.
So, U.S. withdrawing from a lot of initiatives that help the environment might be good for the economy in the short term, but when you look at the long-term effects of these situations for our current generation and the generations to come, if the biggest power in the world does not invest in the environment and the global welfare, that is not the right path to take.
So, withdrawing from the Paris Agreement and rolling back some of the environment-friendly regulations by the current administration, I think that is short-term thinking. We will suffer from this in the long run. If you just think about even one hurricane, one category 4 or 5 hurricane through a populated region, the cost of dealing with that alone is in billions of dollars. And if you can, excuse me, If we can even prevent one of those, it is going to save us billions of dollars. Now, rolling back some of these regulations may save some costs and help us, but again, it's a short-term thinking. Having said that, this is a global problem, and even the developing countries like India and China should contribute equally as far as limiting the pollution to the environment is concerned. If they don't participate right away, they should meet us somewhere in the middle, and I think it's something which has to be tackled globally.
So again, I'm gonna straight out say that I do not feel that I'm educated enough on the whole topic to have a valid opinion. But if it's important enough that there are, a group of countries with very important people and scientists and leaders that are trying to come up with a plan, that it's probably pretty important and we should participate to some level. Obviously, we should always take into account what the economics of that are and be responsible with our economic involvement. So I think we should budget for it, decide what level of importance that has to our budget, and then participate in whatever level that we can in that realm.
So since the US has withdrawn from the Paris Climate Agreement for the sake of their own economy, I feel as though since they're not really doing anything to help the environment anyways, this is not the best decision, since our economy mostly funnels from our mass production, which puts pollution into the air. So I really don't think this is the best decision. So a change that could be made is they'd be like, okay, we're withdrawing from this group that's to help the earth, but we're going to try and find more environmentally friendly ways to produce things. So instead of using coal-powered energy where it's putting all that smoke into the air, they could do wind-powered or solar-powered or algae biofuel-powered. But yeah, I just think that whatever we can do to help the earth while benefiting our economy would be the way to go.
So I learned a lot more than just politics from making this video and conducting these interviews. For me, one of the hardest parts was reaching out to people and asking to interview them. This is because I tried to interview people from both ends of the political spectrum and people in the middle. I also tried to interview people that I knew were very interested in politics and people that weren't. I did this so I could get opinions from a wide range of people that had different values and beliefs. However, this did make it harder to find people to interview because I knew I could not just interview my close friends and the people that I knew well. I chose this topic because it has always been important to me, and recently it has become more important to the general public. In my first question, which was a quote from Donald Trump, he claimed that climate change is a hoax, and he has often made similar statements. However, everyone that I interviewed said to some extent that the science proves that the environment is changing and that something needs to be done. Since I only interviewed 13 people, however, and they all have similar economic statuses and live in the same county, it does not provide conclusive evidence of the majority public opinion on this topic, but it does show that people as young as 12 to middle age think about the environment and have an opinion that we should act now to save the only habitat known to humanity.